Hey, welcome to the first episode, first segment of the Franklin Lynch story. My name is Joe Nip, professionally known as NippLife, hip-hop historian, all that other good shit, music producer, drummer, just for the love of music. Frank Lynch was my cousin, and he recorded a song called Young Girl. Now the song Young Girl, when you look at the 45, hold up, pause 1 second. All right, I'm back. When you look at the 45, this is it, one of the originals. So you have Young Girl, Frank Lynch. Herschel Dwellingham was, rest in peace, was a great musician, originally from Louisiana, but moved to Boston, to Berkeley, but a drummer, all kind of different instruments. And him and my cousin met, and that's how my girl, Young Girl, came to be. So it's a lot that went on, and what actually brought the song back to life would be another beautiful story. Now, the song was either recorded 67, 68, 69, and then he actually his life was tragically cut short in 1970. So we had, as a family, I remember him talking about he's gonna make a song, make a record. Now we're gonna rewind to how important he was in my life. Now, first let's let it be known, nobody in the family called him Frank. We all called him Joe, Cousin Joe. There was already my Uncle Frank there, so he went by either Franklin or Joe. He was born in New Jersey, and my great-grandmother, Julia Mack, his mother's name is Ethel May, was born in New Jersey, which was my great-grandmother's niece. So, as a baby, whatever situation was going on, my grandmother went and got him and brought him back to Georgia. So now he's in Georgia, growing up with my mother, my older cousins, and their family and all of that. So from an early age, he's singing, man. He's, as my mother was telling me, he sung a lot. He always could sing, had a beautiful voice. And I think one of the things he went through was he was dark skinned, so he probably went through a lot of nonsense and drama and just bullshit. So I guess it was one of his outlets, and which was cool. Now that'll be a whole nother episode of his early years. So why and how and now to this day, why it's so important in my life, and just where this, as I'm a grown man, I can look back and say, wow. So my early memory was him. He was living in Boston at my grandmother's house, and he would always come with albums, music, just albums, 45 albums, and a lot of the albums. Because I was born in New York, raised in New York, so we would go to 4 hours away. We'd go to Boston. It was a boom, and it was a record player. And I would always run. It was all kind of new records of people I probably never even heard of to this day, but I was just all fascinated with it. So one particular day, some song was on, and whatever I was doing caught his attention. Now, that same week or two, this is in Boston, there was this talent show coming up at the Strand Theater. Now, the Strand Theater is this famous theater. I don't know if it's in Roxbury or Dorchester, but it's just like, it's the Strand. You know what I mean? New Edition. If you watching their movie or know their story, they won the talent show. That was at one of the theaters. So it was just a local place where, boom. So I don't know if it was My Girl or some song he wanted to sing, and he wanted to incorporate me into his act. So I remember him asking my parents. We tried it, and I did it. Whatever, And at this point, I have to be 3, 4, really young. I'm young. You know what I mean? But this was like this memory of him and what we were doing in the rehearsing. It's been with me, all my life. So finally, my parents said, "Yeah." Now we're practicing and rehearsing, and fast forward to the night of the actual show. So we go, and this is so dope now that as I'm grown and out of industry and the music shit, it's just dope. So we go, and we're in the back dressing room. So we're in one, and I see, the mirror with the bulbs around it and shit. And I'm looking, I got a big car, I'm checking out my shit. And, I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous at all, man. It's just, I don't know. I'm not really even tripping on it. I guess I'm not young. I'm fearless at that point. And so once again, it was a talent show. So, other people went on before, and then this one guy went on. Now, I don't know if this guy was his competition or this other guy it was some energy between them. It was something where my cousin didn't really care for this guy. You know what I mean? So the guy goes on, and I think whatever song my cousin was going to do, my son, because I think he did like a couple of songs, 2 or 3 songs, and then, one of the songs, I come out, boom. So this guy goes on and shit, and he does his shit, and then when he gets off, my cousin, runs up on him, and it's like, yo, and they beefing. He's like, I was going to say da. So I'm looking, I'm a little kid, but I'm like, if we got to, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So basically my cousin explained that the guy knew he was going to sing this song, and he sung it before him. Like he went on, you know what I mean? That was one of the songs in my cousin's set. And it was a real popular song at that time. So the crowd was really tripping. So, that shit went on. So we go on. Cousin goes on, and he's doing his song, and the second one, and I think the third one, he says, "I got my little cousin from New York. He's out here. He's going to help me with this one." And like I said, they call me Lou. He's like, "Lou, come on out." So I come out, and immediately I see these lights on the stage, or on the bottom of the stage. So I can't really see like individuals. I just hear this noise and screaming and clapping, and it's the wildest feeling, emotion, whatever I never felt in my life. But I'm tripping, and it's beautiful, and I'm just hearing the ladies. I'm just hearing this shit. So we get in our thing, we singing. I got the mic. He's doing my part, boom, boom, boom. Now backtrack to rehearsing. He showed me how to hold a mic. He showed me how to stand. He showed me how to move. He just taught me this. Now, that's going to play a part when hip hop came out and I became an MC, because I was already familiar with grabbing a mic, moving from this part of the stage, moving, crowd participation, eye contact, all that other shit that he had instilled in me as a young kid, You know what I'm saying? I'm just absorbing this shit. So we get, we go home. He's disappointed and shit. He didn't win. This cat won and shit. I think he came in like second or whatever. But this bitch motherfucker who stole his song, you know what I'm saying? He comes in. So, I mean, he wins. So me and my cousin, we go home, and that's kind of that. Now, like I said, they lived in Boston, and we lived in New York. So my cousin would apparently just would surprise, would just show up. You know what I mean? We lived in Harlem, we would just show up. So one particular day, I guess he saw me, James Brown, dancing to James Brown, doing this shit. I mean, I had it to the point where I had perfected it. I guess it would be the equivalence of younger people or whatever that generation dance like Michael Jackson. I mean, I had that shit to the point where, man, grown people, I would like have parties and I would go do that shit. It was that deep, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, man, James Brown happened to be going to be at the Apollo. So he's like, man, I gotta get you. You got James Brown, gotta see you do this. He's telling me this, right? So now I'm like 4 at this point. 4, you know what I'm saying? Because this is like 1968. So he's telling me, he's amazed, man. He's tripping like, yo, how are you doing this shit? So we walk from 116th Street to 125th Street to the Apollo Theater. So now we get to the Apollo Theater. Now, here's the James Brown connection. Augusta, Georgia was where my mom and Joe, Franklin Lynch were all grew up. My grandparents, this is the earth. So James Brown, roots, Augusta, Georgia, Beach Island, South Carolina, all of that. So that's all here. So apparently my cousin, Frank Lynch, to the world knew somebody who knew somebody. So we show up at the Apollo during the day. Now, back in the day, there used to be this guy, I was so young, the doorman at the Apollo, either he had one leg or one arm. It was something. So he's like, yeah, this is my little cousin I was telling you about. So he tells me to do it. So I hit it right there on the spot in the lobby and shit at the Apollo Theater. So the man, he calls another dude. He's like, yeah, look at this. I'm doing it. So there's like, all right, this is the plan. James Brown used to have like 2 shows. It was that popular, sometimes 3, I think, because it was that many people wanted to see him. So they was like, yo, we're going to come, boom, we're going to sit you at a certain seat. And then they asked me, what's your favorite song? Whatever that was, shit, man, hold up, Paul.